Hi again, and welcome to the Hi Again podcast. I'm your host today, Mr. Lettuce, and I'm here with my co-host Svempa.
Good day, guys.
It's been a crazy couple of weeks. Christmas happened, New Year's, and a lot. Both me and Dope got sick, and we've been lazy, to be frank. Um, but we're back now, and if everything goes according to plan, we'll be uploading every week from now. As you may notice, Dope's not here, and that's because he's moving and a bunch of stuff like that. So we have to hold the front line without him for a couple of weeks until he's situated. But he'll be back. Um, Today we're here with an administrator on the r/we Discord server. He is a medical patient and an awesome guy. Hey, Gorm.
Hey.
So I want to start today's program with asking you about being a medical patient. How is life as a medical patient?
Uh, it it's helped me in a lot of different ways, but I think it's also changed me in a bunch more ways. I think it's definitely it's made me a lot more focused on myself, not in a bad way per se, but I've definitely been able to improve my areas of myself where I needed to in terms of school, um, helping me concentrate and all, and my mental health. It's definitely helped me organize some stuff in my brain that wasn't exactly organized before, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
it's definitely given me kind of a safety net in my life where I can fall back on if I need to.
That's
And
great. That's
that's
great.
yeah, it's been a great addition, been a great help in my life.
Yeah, both me and Svempa are from Europe, and the problem with Europe is that Europe isn't too kind on weed laws. So we're both living in illegal countries, and we can just stroll into a dispensary and buy 20 different strains if we'd like. We just kind of go to our guy and get something. How is it being able to pick and choose from different strains with different CBD and THC levels?
I got well. When entering, it's kind of like going into a doctor's office. You kind of check in. There's the whole waiting room feel, and you check in. You go back to the back room, and it starts to feel more like a grocery store, and you're being helped out, and you're being checked out with 20 heads of cabbage, and but looking over the menu, it gets kind of intimidating. I gotta say, like, you've got
Yeah, yeah.
like 30 different options in front of you, and like you're sitting, you're like, well, shit. Like, I don't actually know. So a lot of the time you kind of end up just bringing one home to try out and not really sure what's going to happen, but you get a lot of pleasant surprises that way, and I've been able to find a bunch of good stuff that works for me that way. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that is pretty cool. But
Kind of
like,
stressful if you have anxiety, but
yeah, I'd imagine you're exploring all the time, trying new strains and all that. But what's your desert island strain? Like, what strain do you always bring back? And it's a safe deal.
well, it's definitely going to be something more in the middle range of kind of like the sativa indica spectrum. It's going to be something like Gorilla Glue or Mr. Clean. Um, it's going to be something that I can do any time of the day, any certain needs that I have that will just center me and ground me and kind of give me that good uplifted mood. Because what I'm usually needing it for is that kind of anxious anxiety feeling. It's like, oh shit, everything sucks. So
Yeah,
anything that can kind of like ground me and get me there to like, ooh, wow, flowers. It's like, yeah, that'll be kind of what I'm going for. So anytime I see that on the menu, it's like, yeah, sweet, give me
mm.
a bunch of that.
Yeah. No, that's definitely like mid range. I would imagine
Yeah,
it's good for both like medicinal use as well as getting
exactly.
fucking destroyed. Right?
Yeah, very, very, Very true. Very true.
Yeah. Um, on the topic of like smoking in general, I'd like to know how you guys like to smoke. Because there are a bunch of different ways. There are joints, blunts, bongs, dabs, all that stuff, and even edibles. So what are your favorite ways to do that?
I'd say my absolute favorite way of smoking is a bong, but vaping comes into a close second. And my absolute least favorite is freaking joints.
Least?
Yeah, like
we're gonna have a fight here.
I just don't enjoy them as much. Like they're still great. I still get high as fuck, but it's like my least preferred method. I only use them when I'm outside or something when I don't really want people to spot that I'm smoking weed.
Yeah. Yeah.
that. Yeah. Usually when I'm a homo, I'll go with the glass water pipe. I have a bunch of spoons. I have a few vapes, so I'll do those from time to time. But usually the water pipe is my go-to. Um, joints, I just like I have a love-hate relationship with those because on one hand it's like it's a nice little feel, but at the same time it's like 1 gram though, so much. But you do what you do.
Yeah. No, I gotta say that my absolute favorite would be bong. Because it's a smooth ride.
Oh yeah.
And you can dose it so well.
Mhm.
But my second place would definitely be a bowl because it's just like it's a portable and low key little thing that you can just light up with. But my third favorite, and it's the best social experience for me. It's definitely a joint because it's just you and the guys just passing it around. It's pretty good. But my least favorite of all, and I remember fucking gagging when I tried one, is blunts. Blunts are
Oh.
not. Blunts are the spawn of Satan. They just taste bad. I mean, ugh, no.
I'll raise
That's,
you one though. Hemp wraps. Those are a godsend. No nicotine, almost no flavor if you don't want it. But God, if I if I had enough to use those all the time, I would totally because those are just the most enjoyable experience.
yeah,
Highly
yeah.
recommended. No pun intended.
Yeah, no, hemp is definitely a miracle because like I used to have this rolling machine because I used to be a filthy peasant, um, the like it had a plastic made of hemp. It was
Yeah.
insane. Like I didn't know you could make so many different
You mean
things
like
with
the
it.
rolling machine I have?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
have one as well.
Filthy peasant.
yeah. Raw made a rolling machine made out of hemp,
Yeah.
and that's
I
pretty cool.
I have a rolling machine made from just plain plastic from Zigzag. It's real shit, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I
That
definitely
sounds
recommend the one
really
from Raw
tasty.
if you can't roll. But if I have one recommendation, just learn to roll. Like seriously,
Yeah.
rolling machines, I don't know. They're like the what are those things called? They're like the classy walk of smoking. It's just yeah, it's like a
Learning
hoverboard. You
yourself
don't
makes you
need it.
feel like Bear Grylls.
Yeah, yeah,
You really
How
like
Bear
yeah.
Grylls smokes weed.
Indiana Jones. Because then you can make
I'll,
it out of like a palm leaf.
yeah, yeah.
But like,
Uh,
I also see the satisfaction in smoking a joint that you rolled yourself. It's really satisfying.
definitely. You feel like a craftsman.
It's an experience. It's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
experience that comes along with it.
And especially socially. I mean, you might get herpes, but it, it'll it'll still be a very fun social experience because it's
Know
like
thine circle.
at least the way I do it, we all bring a little bit of our own, just mix match it all. Maybe mix the hash and the
Gotta
green,
get that
and
Sally, man.
everyone just chips in. It's like a barbecue. Everyone brings something. It's pretty cool. Uh,
Oh,
Gathering at your finished product.
Yeah.
I
So
remember
there's one guy
mixing.
stuck on the barbecue for half an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the first time I mixed strains. it fucking sucked. I got so damn high. Like,
I remember that too.
And I had to ride the bus home.
Oh, no.
So I was like, everybody knows I'm high right now.
Everybody is watching me on television.
It felt like that.
I am on the local news.
Yeah, like helicopters following the bus and shit.
Yeah. I remember my first time smoking a cocktail. And a cocktail, a cocktail is the mix between herb and hash. And I remember it just knocking me out. It was like getting roofied. I swear to God. It was insane.
Have you gotten roofied before?
I'll keep that to the imagination. But yeah.
That's for the roofie pod coming right up.
And it was so weird because the time after it went completely fine. So it's strange how that affects you differently. But on to like the next topic, which has a lot to do with like smoking and the effects of it. I know you will have some answers for this, and maybe me and Svempa has got some as well. But how are the effects of smoking over a longer period? Because Gorm, you're what you could consider a stoner. You smoke pretty much every day.
Gorm is the definition of a damn stoner.
Yeah, but have you noticed any effects on like your mental state or anything else over a longer period?
See, I ask myself that a lot because I'm probably a good case study for the long-term effects because I really have smoked almost every day since I'd say February of 2018. So
damn, almost a year.
Yeah, it's being a medical patient. It's almost daily. And I gotta say, I haven't. All of the changes in my life since then have been positive changes because every time I think about it, since February of 2018, my grade point average went from like a 2.2 to like a 3.5.
Damn.
I fucking dropped 20, or I fucking dropped 20, or not 20, why do I keep saying 20? 45 pounds. I like all of these changes made me like, and I'm not saying it's correlated, but like it's definitely something to be said that like you can do both at the same time. You can have this in your life and make all these good changes to your life, like, and it won't interfere. At least it's possible to do it while not having it interfere. So I think there's definitely something to be said there with that.
Yeah, definitely. Because like, I used to I had a period last year from like maybe September to January, where I smoked pretty much every day. I did it a lot, and suddenly I was forced to stop because of the laws of my country. So, and I remember it was kind of like getting jerked out of sleep. It's like I was kind of like shaken because the like when you stop, at least for me, this isn't the same for everybody, of course. But when I stopped, I remember I instantly felt the changes in my head in weeks. It was like because one thing I noticed, and I want to disclaim that this is not the same for everybody. But I remember my memory started to become better and stuff like that. But the most positive and biggest long term effect I had was the fact that I kind of understood myself better, right?
Yeah.
You kind of understand why you feel the way you feel, and you get better at diagnosing yourself, and you feel better because of that.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Perspectivity is definitely a major plus to it. You start to, because there is some light evidence to suggest that it promotes gray matter growth in the brain, and it helps to form new connections that may otherwise not have grown. So there is something to be looked at there whether or not it does literally help you become more in tune with yourself, and know more about yourself. And I think we'll know a lot more interesting things about that as studies start being done, and I'm very excited about that. I
Yeah, me
want
too.
science to come out on it. Yeah, I mean, I'm a lot more open.
Yeah, me too.
I'm a lot more open to new ideas. I'm a lot more receptive to people. My
Yeah,
world.
no, it's insane what it does to you, and I mean, it's
Mhm.
I think it's really interesting how it can change your personality and the whole way your brain operates. Um, it's pretty insane, but if you walk into it with a good attitude,
Mhm.
um, I feel like a lot of times, or most of the time, you do have the opportunity to better yourself as a person. Although this is not grounded in science, it's just my personal experience, as well as maybe Gordon's.
Yeah, I should say
And
this is
mine,
none of us
for sure.
encouraging anyone. This is none of us encouraging anyone to go out and try anything or like. This is none of us
Definitely,
saying this is going to go and change anyone's life. This is I
yeah.
sought
And
this
one
out
thing,
because no other treatment was helping me. Um, but this did luckily change my life. Because I swear,
yeah,
if y'all had met me like even December of 2017, none of you would have recognized me. It's
yeah,
pretty
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, now one more thing I want to bring up when it comes to warnings. I started smoking not daily, but I started smoking occasionally when I was quite young. I was like 16, and
Mhm.
you know, when there is speculation in the scientific community that it might affect how you grow as a person, how your puberty is basically.
Mhm.
So do tread carefully when it comes to that, and be aware that um, weed affects your brain differently when you're a teenager versus when you're a fully grown adult.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the
Yeah,
day, it's a psychoactive substance. It's going to affect your mind and your psychochemistry. It like don't tread it lightly just because it's becoming a legal substance is essentially
Yeah, yeah,
the idea behind it. I mean, there's going to be a lot more research done on it, but we are the test palettes
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
for the
with
next
the lab
decades of
rats,
yeah. We're the lab
legalizing.
rats.
the happiest lab rats ever.
Yeah, at least we're not getting shot with like glowing DNA or anything.
Yeah.
We're not the glow in the dark lab rats.
Yeah, I started smoking when I was 16, and that brings me on to our next topic, which is story time. Because I've been smoking for a good amount of years now, and I do have a lot of fun stories with my friends smoking. So do you guys have any interesting stories to talk about pertaining to weed?
Oh Lord, I have to
I'm
think.
gonna think about it while you guys tell yours.
Oh,
Well, I can start with a pretty fun story,
yeah, go for it.
which is about munchies. And
Uh-huh.
like everyone who's started to smoke remember how much of an appetite they got.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, like I remember I started smoking with a friend of mine, and he was an animal. So I don't know if this is common, but he didn't have a block when it came to eating when on the marijuanas. So basically, we would buy like 3 bottles, like big bottles of fucking soda, 2 bags of chips, and Misk candy. And I remember he would just not stop eating, right? And it would go to the point where he would eat until he threw up.
Ew.
Uh, and
Oh
he would
my
like do
God.
that multiple times. I stopped smoking with that guy for that reason, but I
Oh
it was
no.
insane. I remember just sitting there watching him eat all this stuff, and I was just like, "You're gonna throw up, dude," and he was like, "No." He did
Bruh,
that 4 times in a row.
he was a
Just
bulimic stoner.
yeah, he ate, and he
That's
just
crazy.
died.
That's insane. I've never heard of someone gorging themselves to the point of bulimia.
Yeah, it's like birds. If you put a bird in a room with a ton of seeds, it's gonna eat it until it dies. And that's what this dude did. I mean, he did not stop.
Were you
Yeah,
friends with the bird? Is
I
that what you're
mean,
talking
maybe,
about?
maybe.
It was
Maybe,
like, have you
maybe
seen
not.
that YouTube clip? It's pretty old, but like they feed a seagull hot dogs and he eats them until he pukes out a whole fucking hot dog. That's fucking disgusting.
Oh,
That is
God.
a fun fact
Poor
about
Seagull. He
seagulls.
didn't know these humans would come along and have an infinite amount of hot dogs to feed him. He was just like,
Yeah,
oh, cool, free fruit. I guess I'll just stock up here.
but like, imagine the guys like, oh, we have this ass load of hot dogs. Let's feed them to the fucking birds.
Here's my
Yeah,
funny
yeah.
story, and I'll tell this just by reading you guys this description of my Domino's order. Medium 12-inch hand-tossed pizza. Whole green peppers, light roasted red peppers, feta cheese, light banana peppers, bacon, light premium chicken, pepperoni, extra Alfredo sauce, shredded Parmesan, no robust inspired Parmesan sauce, and cheddar cheese with ranch dipping sauce and chocolate lava cake.
Jesus.
Dude,
Guy
you just
looked
gave
at
me a
like I was
boner.
degenerate. I wanted to replicate chicken bacon ranch pizza. I was so intent on recreating this pizza. I gotta admit though, that was some really good pizza.
It
It
sounds like it.
lasted me for a solid 4 days. Because one piece was like eating a full-sized Italian meal. Like, I swear,
Yeah.
oh Lord, my stomach hurts just thinking about that pizza again.
Yeah. On the topic of pizza, I remember it was summer, and summers. I'm in my element in the summer, and I was home just chilling with my friends, and we had at that point smoked about 4 grams of hash in that day, and we were pretty we were pretty fucking stoned, right? And we ordered pizza. And I remember us walking out. I looked in the mirror before walking out, and my eyes, they were somewhere close to very dark, a dark pink. Like they were. I mean, you could see it from miles away because my face just looked like it looked like it's been folded, kind of. It was insane. And we walked out to this pizza driver, and he just looked at us, and he just gave us the widest grin I've ever seen. He did not give us any trouble, and I remember I was so nervous, but when he gave us that grin, it was like like taking over Narnia again. Insane. Pizza drivers are pretty cool.
Yeah,
the pizza driver himself was probably.
Yeah, definitely.
He was probably enjoying some.
yeah, but in my experience, like employees for pizza joints are almost always stoners for some reason.
Oh, bro.
Yeah.
My delivery dude always brings my dog treats. I'm like, hell yeah.
Oh damn! What a bro!
I'll tell you what,
That's
though.
high class.
Better than pizza employees, Subway employees, always, 200% of the time. I swear to God, 2 or 5 out of 7, or I'd say the people who worked when I worked.
I'm gonna give you guys a challenge. Next time you order Subway, make your order without saying It's freaking hard.
I can already tell you you're gonna fail that because I don't think I've ever heard a person who ordered Subway who didn't say
Yeah, me and
only Subway was pretty much the low point of my life.
Like, the only component food I can order without letting out a big long is kebabs, dude.
Yeah,
I
man.
love kebabs, and if you
Same.
eat a kebab when you're fucking, folded, you will have the best experience in your life. And I can order that, blind. I can order that mute, dude. I swear to God, it's insane. If you never tried it, smoke a joint, hit a bong, and just get it because it's fucking awesome.
Do I have to do both, or can I just smoke a bong?
Just do whatever you want, dude.
Do everything.
Just get in the
Do
zone.
it all.
Do it all.
Do it all. Do kebabs.
Yeah.
There, I just wrote their new slogan. I expect royalties to be paid for me.
Oh yeah, I have one story that I can tell. It's like
Go for it.
I
King
was
of the bush.
at my friend's and we were vaping, and then I was pretty suited, so I walked out. I put on my sunglasses because I felt obliged to do it, even though my eyes doesn't get really red. I always do it just in case. And then I walk into a movie store that sells a lot of snacks, and I buy like an XXL bag of popcorn. And I bought something else. I bought Airheads as well. And then I take my stuff and walk out, and two of my classmates come into the door. And they're like, "What's up, Philip, my man? How you doing?"
No.
And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good." And they're like, "Why do you have your sunglasses on?" I was like, I was just about to leave. I don't think they noticed, to be honest, but I was so fucking scared
Oh, Christ.
Yeah.
because I was still in school by this time, and yeah.
I used to have this teacher in junior high, and to be honest, she was a bit of a bitch, and
That one.
yeah, always, and she was the typical gray hair old woman, very power tripping, all that stuff. And I remember I was sitting on my couch, zonked out, and one of my friends started calling random numbers on my contact.
I know where this is going.
And he doesn't know that she was my teacher. I had her number, and just for you, just this disclaimer. In my country, it's not uncommon to have your teacher's number because we need them in day-to-day school activities. But that's for some reason in the U.S. that's very, very sexual.
Yeah, over here would be looked at like you're fucking your teacher.
Yeah.
Straight up.
But he calls this number, and she answers, and she gets immediately pissed because he's fucking with her, like you do in a call. And I think I need to thank God that he turned on like a hidden number before that, because dude, like that would have been bad. And I remember like I was stressing hard when I found out he made that call. Like,
I feel sorry for you, man. Something similar happened to me.
yeah, do tell.
I was like at a summer. This was before this. I was really anti-drug at the time, to be honest. But that's not part of the story. I was like 14 years old. I was at summer camp, and This was right when smartphones were a new thing, and I had a smartphone. So people asked me to borrow it to make prank calls, and I was like, "All right, let's do it," because prank calls is freaking funny. So they borrowed my phone, but they forgot to put on secret number or whatever.
Yeah.
Hidden number. So they call up like this old perv. I think he was like a convicted sex offender or something.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know how they got his number, but they called it, and they forgot to put on hidden number. So he started calling me, and I was like, "Please, I'm 14 years old. Stop!" And he was like, "Okay, I'll stop, but that's only because I'm gonna go watch porn now." And I was like, "What the fuck? Why would you tell a 14-year-old boy that?"
Because he's a sex offender.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
I changed number with my next phone.
Yeah.
Smart. Holy shit.
Yeah, that was
on
a
the
pretty
topic.
scary episode.
Yeah, on the topic of stressing out, have you guys ever greened out, and how's that experience?
Oh Lord.
Shit.
Yes. um. Okay. I was at a party, right? And I laid down on the floor, put like face down, put my arms over my ears and my hands intercrossed behind my head, and just laid like that, face down on the floor, mute, completely silent and unresponsive. To me,
Damn.
it felt like it was about like 5 minutes. I got up, and it was apparently like a solid 45 minutes.
Jesus.
And people apparently the entire time have been telling me like, Ben, we were gonna like about to call the like ambulance and shit. Like, I was well. That's when I knew I had dissociation. Like,
Yeah.
holy shit! Like, to me, it was it was not even 5 minutes. Like, I was just like resting. I was just like, but everything was so loud to me outside. I was just panicking. Panicking.
Yeah.
I just went into shutdown mode, dude. So I just laid face down, eyes closed. I was in my happy place.
Yeah.
45 minutes later, apparently. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that was
no.
fucking
That's
weird.
insane. I remember once, smoking. And I was heading back to my house, which was occupied by my family at the time, so I couldn't just walk in there, right? But we walked past this school, me and two friends, this elementary school, and school wasn't in, but there were kids playing on the playground, and
Yeah.
one of my friends, who's he's kind of a risk taker, he saw a basketball in the hands of those kids, and he decided, well, completely fucking bricked, that he was gonna go down there and play with them. And I had a bag just in like I had an open bag in my hoodie, just rustling around, and I remember I was stressing so hard. So I remember he started playing with his kids, and one of them pulled out his phone, and I remember just getting up and running. I ran so fucking hard. It must have looked really weird, but like when like a little deer is drinking by a river,
Yeah.
and suddenly an alligator just leaps out, and the deer just yoinks.
Exactly.
That was what happened with me, and I did it so fast. I see the kid lift the phone to his ear. I just ran, and I ran.
I can
Yeah.
visualize it so
I can imagine it like how it was for the kid. He was like, was he gonna call the cops? Do you know that?
I did not, and that's. I mean,
like,
in my head at the time, I thought, hell yeah, he's calling the cops.
Imagine if it didn't know, like, just, I'm gonna call my mom, say I will be home late for dinner or whatever, and you just...
Yeah, fucking Roadrunner. Yeah, no, but I remember. And one fact I need to disclose in this story is that I'm a big boy. Like I'm not enough. I mean I can't run for more than 2 minutes before basically passing out. But I remember I ran for 10 minutes straight, almost full speed all the way home, and I remember just almost passing out when I came to my house. I just fucking sprinted like I had a cop behind me, but then I had my second issue. My family were in the house, and I was still fucking broken, right? Blue screened, so I had to go into my shed, and I sat inside of that shed for 3 hours.
Oh my God.
And it felt a lot shorter, just like Gorm's story, but it felt like 3 hours. I was just sitting there, greening out, and wondering, if I was a toucan or not. It was insane.
Yeah, my greening out experience lasted about like 3 hours, so I'm gonna tell the story now. So I took a walk and I rolled an extra big one, and then I started walking home and I was like, holy shit, I'm high. Then I get into the house and I walk up to my room like I usually do, and I sit by my computer and I noticed my vision started shifting. Like things were going in waves. Like I was like, is this shit laced or something? Then I go to drink some water and I see in the mirror my my eyes are like raspberries.
Oh, no.
And I was like, this is not good. And then I closed my eyes, and you know when there's nothing on TV, you know that.
Yeah, the snow.
Yeah, I felt that in my body, and I was like, shit,
Oh,
this
shit,
is
I
not
love
good.
that feeling.
So this was my first time. So I lay down on my bed,
Oh.
and I closed my eyes, tried to sleep it off. Then when I close my eyes, I see things like, have you ever played Cuphead?
Oh.
I saw a slot machine from that game. I saw like a piano. I saw the letters THC in front of me, and I was like, "This is laced. This is how I die. Goodbye, world." But then somehow I fell asleep, and I woke up like 4 hours later, and I felt still high, but manageable.
Holy shit, dude.
Yeah, I didn't smoke for a week after that.
I mean, first time too. That's pretty gnarly.
That's
It wasn't my first time smoking, but it was my first time like getting that high.
Yeah. Yeah, no, but like reaching new peaks and hitting your toe, that's quite a scary experience. I have done that myself. That like my story is also that I had reached a new height and I couldn't handle it.
Yeah, I was definitely there one time. I did. I started vibrating really fast, and I was rolling around in space, and then my vision split into the red, blue, green spectrum. I just kind of laid on my mattress.
Oh yeah, I
Like
remember.
lifted my cat into the air like Simba.
And
then just kind of womp. Just deadline for about 16 hours. Yeah.
I also remember my heart was beating like a fucking hardstyle concert.
Oh yeah.
Like, and I was like, shit. I'm having a heart attack or something.
Yeah. On the topic of like stoning out and just being really, really baked, I want to plug something. Because just like Gorm had some problems in his life, I had that as well. So I wanted a way to meditate without, using a lot of time to get into it or anything. And I found this method. And it's kind of like a sensory deprivation tank in the way that you need to deprive yourself of some senses and you need to get really high and you need to listen to some really good music. And I just want to plug it real quick because it's definitely an experience you need to have. So what you do is you get a real comfortable bed, a good headset that isolates sound, and you listen to Resonance by Home. Just make sure it's dark, close your eyes, listen to the music, and be really, really baked. I swear to God, you're gonna have some interesting experience.
Yeah, I remember the trip I was having, if you can call it that. It wasn't unpleasant. It was just like scary because it was my first time.
Intense.
Yeah, it was intense. And also, I tried listening to music, but I think Bob Marley went too fast. And that's when I figured I'm really baked.
You know you're in trouble when Rasta becomes EDM. Yeah, but I think I'm gonna try that after this. So that sounds good.
Oh yeah, definitely. You're gonna.
I enjoy meditation. That was one of the first passions I got into, was learning how to kind of control the sensory areas of my body and learn the different tingles, ASMR tingles, and all of that across my skin.
Yeah.
I think that's definitely one of the best things to do while.
Oh yeah.
Consuming.
Not to get too sciencey, but when you take in like your brain, it's kind of made out of different endings. Getting an electrical signal between them,
Neurons,
and yeah, you have these things called neuroreceptors, which basically allows that connection to happen. And THC is kind of like a synthetic neuroreceptor in the way that it makes the connection stronger. It basically puts your brain into overdrive. Um, and when you do that, you get a way better opportunity to explore your own brain. You you get better at basically calculating yourself. You think faster in a way. And what's cool about that is you can definitely have some very intense meditation when you're high.
That's kind of what I was talking about earlier with the study showing evidence of increased brain matter growth on uh, cannabis use, because those increased connections that they've shown using brain mapping, it's really interesting to see because it kind of leads to the idea that holy shit, using this might actually let us like get big brain energy.
Yeah.
Like fuck yeah, and yeah, it definitely is 100% beneficial to meditation. Like I've used it as a meditation aid for a long time. It's a for sure spiritual energy, if you want to call it that. I don't want to sound too much like a guru or anything.
Yeah, no, but like as long as you're in control, it's definitely something to experience.
Always mindfulness, moderation is key.
Yeah, all that. Yeah. I kind of want to plug the Discord server, the r/wheat Discord server. Mod is Gorm is an administrator there, and I just want to say that it's a really cool place. Like Gorm, how would you say the environment in the server is?
Well, I mean, we get, as you can see from this podcast, me being American, and you guys being from, well, wait, Sweden?
Yeah, something
right?
like that.
Yeah, we have a lot of European dudes on the server, and we have people from all over the world, so it's a lot of different ideas and a lot of different people coming together and creating this big, giant kind of cloud of energy, and it's really cool to see all these different people with different minds coming together and creating a cool, positive environment and talking about this awesome thing, awesome hobby, awesome whatever it is for so many different people.
Yeah. So make sure you get on the server. We'll include an invite link in the description on YouTube and on SoundCloud. So, just pop in there and see what's good. You can talk to us if you want.
But
and,
read the rules.
Read the rules. That's very important.
Yes, please read the rules. God damn it!
Like we get so much people looking for plugs and shit.
Not cool there. No.
Not cool.
Unless you're looking for like electric plugs, I guess that's pretty benign.
Yeah, no, we can pop you for
like,
a few
dude,
links
I need
there.
a socket. I need a socket for my lamp.
Yeah. But the server is a really cool place to meet with people.
Keep it pretty
who like
upbeat
the
most
same
of the
hobbies.
time.
And as Gordon was saying, you'll find a lot of different people there. So that's very cool.
Yes.
Hell yeah. Any I think we're at our road's end here. Do anyone have anything to say before we hop off?
I'ma just say it was really nice to have Gorm on here.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, yeah, it was great being on here, guys.
Yeah.
Even between the 7-hour time difference.
Oh yeah, you have like afternoon right now.
Yeah, the little pond between us. Yeah, the day is still long for me.
Yeah, the little pond.
The little tiny river.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be back soon.
Oh. Yeah, this has been the High Again podcast with me, Mr. Lettuce, and Svempa.
Hey.
I want to thank our guest, Gorm, for hopping on and, chilling with us. That's really cool of you.
Gorm is the absolute bro.
Yeah. Remember to subscribe on YouTube and follow us. SoundCloud, we upload every Friday. Hell hell yeah. See you guys next week.
See ya.
Bye.